Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Well, after waiting for so long, it's finally here. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 Sim Update 3 just got released. Here is the release notes. As you could see, they fixed a lot of items here, a lot of fixes, stability and performance fixes, just general bug fixes, and a whole lot of aircraft fixes. So you scroll down, this list is long. I will leave it linked in the description below. But they fixed a ton of stuff. So it seems like the folks on Steam got the update first. The people who had a Microsoft Store version had to wait a little bit. At first, it wasn't even telling me there's an update to download or anything like that. It just took me straight back into the sim, even after Sim Update 3 was released. Eventually, it got me in, and then it just kept me waiting and waiting. The download would fail, the upgrade would fail, and it wouldn't let me into the sim. It would just say failed, please reboot your computer, and I just couldn't pull down the update. So finally, I'm able to pull down the update. So let's get into the sim and take a look. So here we are, Sim Update 3. We're here in the sim. So first thing I want to go check out is the settings. So one of the things they improved, or fixed, I should say, fixed back, was the controller settings. So before, after Sim Update 2, this changing these profiles for different aircraft and different controllers took a long time. Let's see how long it takes now. Wow, that's instant. Like, as soon as you switch profiles, it switched. That is awesome. That was very annoying. Like, that's something they broke, I think, shortly after Sim Update 1 or Sim Update 2, and now it seems like they fixed it back where if you switch your controller settings, it's instant. So that's pretty good. We will take that. Thank God they fixed that. All right, awesome. Next thing we see here, if we go into our graphic settings, is that they added some new features here, which I already have turned off and low. So they added these new options here. You have character quantity, character variety, and the quality of the character. So that's pretty cool. Now we could customize these in more depth, where you could select how you want your characters to look, how many you want around. And I'm guessing that's in the folks around the airport plus in your aircraft. I'm not sure, but we'll play around with that a little bit. But they added these new features here. We also have airport services quantity, airport services variety, parked aircraft quantity, parked aircraft variety. So this is pretty cool. So I'm guessing they made some updates to the ground services as well as the ground traffic at the airport. So right now I have most of them turned off just to do a comparison with a previous recording I made in Sim Update 2 as a baseline to see if the performance improved. Later on, we'll go ahead and turn some of these on and see what it changes in and around the airplane at the airport. So that's pretty cool. Before, when the sim released, everybody was complaining of the fact that everything was streamed from the cloud and they didn't have the ability to download stuff. So now with this update, we now have the ability to download our aircraft as well as different scenery. So that is pretty cool. I know a lot of people have been waiting for that. The developers initially said they were not gonna make this available, but here we are now. Now we have the ability to download aircraft. So right now I already have a couple aircraft downloaded, as you can see here. You now have the access to the downloads tab. And if you go over here, you can see the 4 aircraft I already have downloaded. And then we could install them after we download them. So I won't install them yet, but after you download stuff, it seems like you have to come in here and install it. So that's still interesting here. We'll check that out. But if we go to what's streamed, we could find different city updates as well. Go ahead and download them. You click on it like so. You could download it. After you download it, then you'd have to install it. So over here in my downloads, I'm going to go ahead and try to install one of the aircraft I have downloaded just to see how that works. So we're going to go ahead and install the Beechcraft. Wow, that's instant. After you download it, it's pretty much installed. That's pretty quick. Oh, interesting. So after you download the aircraft, it goes to your downloads. Once it's in your downloads, you then have to click on it and install it. And then it goes to your install tab over here. And from there, I'm guessing you can uninstall it or remove it. So that's very interesting. And you obviously have your community content still here. So after you download the aircraft, you then have to go ahead and install it. make sure you install it. And then it's no longer being streamed from the cloud. So that's pretty cool. That's how you do it if you need to or want to. I know a lot of people are planning to upgrade their hard drives with more space to accommodate this. And I believe the sceneries work in a similar fashion. You just got to download it and install it. So that's something I'll check out later. But for now, I want to go ahead and do a flight in the Cessna 172 at LAX. So before Sim Update 3 was released, I went ahead and did like a little baseline test of the performance from LAX with no traffic on, which is why I turned all the traffic off earlier, as you can see. Where's LAX? So I want to go ahead and compare that to what my Sim Update 2 performance was now with Sim Update 3. If I could only find KLAX. Let's see, there it is. Okay, and I'm gonna take off from the exact same runway as I did before. So now I'll show you what the before footage looked like and what the performance was like, and then after I'll show you what it is like now with Sim Update 3. So we are here at LAX, runway 25 right. No traffic, no beyond ATC traffic, no AIG traffic, no even default traffic. Just us, and this is what the sim is reporting for frames. And what you can't see is out of view is my NVIDIA frames, and it's kind of similar, probably a difference of about 10. NVIDIA, reporting about 10 frames less than what you see here. So that's our baseline. So I'm here in external view. Let's do a quick circuit around LAX just to see what the frame rate stays at. Again, this is just to get a baseline of what the performance is like in Sim Update 2 before we update to Sim Update 3. So to jump into cockpit real quick, here we are in the G1000 Cessna 172 Skyhawk. All right, let's go flying. Turn off the park and brake and full throttle. My feet on the rudder pedals. Left rudder. Nice and easy flight. And you can see the frames that's being reported, about 120, 115, 55 knots. Let's go ahead and rotate. Very nice. All right, let's go external mode and see what the frames looks like. Again, here we are, LAX, runway 25, I think it was right. Take off. Here's the terminals. Again, no traffic is on right now. And we're just gonna do a quick fly around. Let's go, flaps can come up. So we're gonna go out to the water and come back in. All right, so here we are at LAX, same airport, same runway, same aircraft as before. This is runway 25 right at LAX. Same exact place I took off from when I was doing my before in Sim Update 2, just to compare the performance. And straight away, the frames looks like about, on average, about 10 frames less than what I had in Sim Update 2. But visually, to me, it looks a lot better here in Sim Update 3 that I could see for now. The grass looks better. Yeah, it looks a lot better, but we're getting on average about 90 frames. It spikes at about 100 every now and then. But that's the performance we're seeing here. Again, same settings as before, and with the new settings we just got in Sim Update 3 is turned off, like all the airplanes and ground service, I turned that off to keep it as similar as possible, because I had that turned off before in my previous test. So like I said, about 10 frames on average less than I got before in Sim Update 2, but we could go ahead and take off and see how it looks. Alright, let's go flying here. So the frame's in the high 80s right now. Stooping every now and then to about 80. Dipping every, ooh, we're in the 40s. Alright, let's go ahead and take off. Yeah, the performance on takeoff here is not great. Now it's back up into the 90s, so that's good. Again, it still looks smooth and buttery. I'm not, you know, I'm not by no means complaining. I'm simply just looking at the FPS as a comparison to what it looked like in Sim Update 2. Airport does look a lot better here in LAX. I almost want to say they made some tweaks to LAX. It looks a lot better. So the flaps can come up. Juice our throttle a little bit. Alright, get the cursor off of that. Yeah, we're averaging about 100 frames, high 90s. Fluctuates every now and then, but that looks pretty good. Like I said, visual quality looks, to me, better. Not by a lot, but it just looks a little bit better here in Sim Update 3. Everything looks a little bit more crisp, I would say. So far so good. Again, the controller menu is a lot improved. It's a lot snappier. We got some new settings in the graphics settings. We'll take that. And so far, the visual quality here looks really good at LAX, for me at least, in my setup. Everybody's setup is going to be different, so, you know, performance changes may vary based on your system. But so far, Sim Update 3 looks fairly decent. Of course, still got to see if they fix career mode, see how that looks, if your missions are even doable, or if they're failing, or if it's tracking properly. So this looks pretty good. Performance here and the visual quality here looks really good. Again, about 100 frames now as we're in the sky. Let's go external mode for a little bit. Dips to the high 60s, but it comes straight back up. Often that happens whenever you change angles or camera. But that looks good. Turn that tracking off. The visual quality looks really good. And the frames, like, they're averaging about 90, so we'll take that. Again, in Sim Update 2, I did have about, I want to say, in the low hundreds, like just peaking over 100. But the visual quality here looks pretty good. Yeah, everything looks good. Performance, I would say, so far so good. And again, this is LAX. This is default LAX. It's not add-on or anything. So, not bad, not bad. All right, next thing you want to go check out is what those new settings do when you're at a big gate at one of these airports. So, let's spawn in a bigger airliner at the gates and start playing with those settings and see what they do. Everything just feels so much quicker. Like, it's just buttery smooth. Like, literally just buttery smooth. It's really good. Everything just works faster. I can't find a plane I'm looking for, but the menu, like, something as simple as that was just clunky. And now it's just really smooth. All right, here we are at LAX. Airliner at a regular gate, big gate. And here we can see the performance. Just walk around a little bit. All right, this is the fly-by-wire A320. Yeah, all looks good. Here we are inside the aircraft. Cold and dark state. All right, seems okay. Let's get some power in here. Alright. That all looks fairly good. Performance is okay. I haven't flown the fly-by-wire in a long time, actually, so I haven't flown any big airliners in a long time. But we just wanted to spawn in here and see what the performance looks like. Alright, let's go ahead and start tweaking some settings here and see what happens. Let's go over here and let's turn on the parked aircraft quantity. Let's turn that to low. See what that starts looking like. There we go. One E90 just spawned in. A couple of them just spawned in. Okay. So here we have some aircraft spawning in. Let's get dev mode back on. Alright, so with those aircraft spawning in, performance didn't take too much of a hit. Still in about the 60s there. Huh. But all the aircraft is the same type, it looks like. Looks like an Embraer E190 if I had to guess. Alright, let's go try turning that up some more. Let's see what else we could do. So we come back down here. And all I did was turn parked aircraft quantity to low. Let's go and increase the variety to medium and see what that does. Okay, all the aircraft is still looking like all the same aircraft. Okay, that's fine. Didn't really change much. Again, performance is still decent. That's fine. Let's see what else we could do here. Let's change the parked aircraft quantity to medium. Let's see if that does anything. Oh, that changed the aircraft type. So we have a 737 that spawned over there. Some Airbuses. Okay. And I also noticed a couple. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, some more aircraft spawned in. Different types now. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I still don't have the toolbar. It might be one of my mods that kind of keeps the toolbar hidden. That is broken with Sim Update 3. So that could be on me. No worries there. But yeah, this looks good. Some more aircraft spawning in. Let's go ahead and crank these up to high and see what happens, or at least ultra. Let's see. This could go up to high. This could go up to high as well. Let's put some airport traffic on as well. Leave that on low for now. And airport services. Let's turn that up to medium. See what we get now. Alright, the frames dipped a little bit, but still okay. Don't see any airport services, which I do have the all airport services mod to turn it off. I do have that installed currently. I haven't removed it with Sim Update 3 yet to play around, so that's something I'll do in a future video. But no airport services, but a few different planes here. This one's like a 767. Neo's over there. That looks like a MD over there. So pretty cool. Now you could kind of play around with those settings. Before, I think those used to exist somewhere else, but now you have them right here in your graphics settings. So still decent. Again, Sim Update 3 looks to be good so far. I'm happy with the few changes I've tested so far. So let me know if you were able to download Sim Update 3. Let me know what you think so far. Is it better? Also, a new NVIDIA driver just dropped, I believe it was earlier this week. So I'm also running that new driver, so that could also make a difference as well. So not sure what that really added with DLSS, but that's what we have so far. One more thing I want to test out is with this, we now have the ability to change the frame gen. What a frame over here, frame multiplier. Before, when you try to change this, it kind of crashed the sim, for me at least, and it would never stick on 3 or 4. They said they fixed that, so let's try bumping it up to 3 and see what happens. That improves the frames. I could have set and even sticks. Okay. Oh wow, the frames jumped up. That's good. And my GPU is still about 50%, but the frames we're getting here is a lot higher. We're getting in the 90s now. Huh. That might make a world of difference, you know. It's really smooth. Again, we have all these other planes spawned in here. And it feels really good. So now we could change that to 3 times. Let's try 4 and see what happens. Might break it, but hey. So we gotta try. Now it's cranked up to 4. Wow. Now it jumped up even higher to frames. Whoa. Could this be game changing? I might be reading too much into it, but the frames are definitely higher. Again, performance was smooth already anyway. It wasn't really too much stutters before. But the frame rates are like insane. This might be a game changer. Now you can turn this up. Again, I am running the 5070 Ti with 16 gigs of VRAM. And we could see the VRAM usage down there. It should be, yeah, using about, what is that, about 10, 13? Yeah, it's not terrible. And the frames we're getting is insane, actually. Now I'm going to do one more test. I'm going to go back into the Cessna at the same gate, turn back off all these aircraft from being here, and see how much frames I get now in the Cessna 172 at the same runway. See you guys in a second. Wow. So here we are back at LAX. Same runway, 25 right, same aircraft, Cessna 172. All the traffic's turned off. And I changed the frame rate multiplier, I think it's called, to 4 times. That was something that usually in the previous update you couldn't change. It wouldn't stick and it would crash the sim. And now we're getting almost 200 frames. Again, I'm not noticing much difference as far, like, the quality looked good already anyway when the frames were lower. But now it's reporting all of these frames. And the NVIDIA overlay is also reporting about the same amount of frames. So that's pretty insane that with this update now, we now have the ability to change the frame rate multiplier. And again, I'm not really familiar with what that does. I'm just looking at what it's reporting here in the sim. Could it just be a gimmick? I don't know. I mean, the sim, like I said, it looks good. I could read what's on my G1000 fairly well with DLSS turned on. This is the same settings I had before in sim update 2. And the frame rates, like, it's just insane. It's in the high 100s here. So that is pretty interesting. Maybe let's take off a little bit and see what happens. See if it's if I notice anything different as far as quality. Wow, those frames is just insane. Performance is really good too. And again, this is LAX. It's really good. Now it dipped to the 40s. Oh, that was just because. No, it's still, yeah, 150, 160. Wow. Here's LAX. Now I'm gonna play around and turn up my settings even more and crank them up and see if it really hinders performance here. Because that looks really, really good. And if it's actually giving me the frames it's reporting, then that's a huge boost. Again, I am running the NVIDIA 5070 Ti, 16 gigs of VRAM, but this looks amazing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and end it here for today. It's already a long video. Please remember to like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts. Were you able to download Sim Update 3? Yeah, just let me know if it's working for you. Do you think it's better than Sim Update 2? Is the ability to download a good feature? I think it is. Do you have the amount of storage space to download all that stuff you want? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
This concludes our flight. We hope you enjoyed the ride. Before you deplane, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and check out our other content.